can I just start by saying the lady who sings the opening song? That's pretty cool. Well, you all knew this was coming. Hopefully. I'm not sure if I've said it, but Gurren Lagann is my second favorite anime of all time. Well, was. Maybe, I don't know, list's a fickle man. And this being the first anime I watched 3 times, I don't know if that was a good idea, but we'll get to that. So I'm sure most people know the anime, but it was made by Studio Gainax, you know, from the people who made Evangelion, who now work at Studio Trigger and have made such anime such as Kill la Kill and Premiere. It's an original anime that follows Simon, a human who lives underground. But after meeting the bestest big bro Kamina, who dreams of breaking through the heavens, his whole world is turned upside down. Literally. It's probably the first anime that defined the, oh boy, this episode sure was crazy, how can we top it? They did that for 20 plus episodes, the mad lads. I mean, you start all the way underground to out there, you know, somewhere there. The episodes sort of have this monster of the week formula at the start, but slowly it becomes apparent that all these episodes are setting up for something much bigger down the line. Oh, I pity the poor sap who dropped this series midway through. It's such a reward going through it all, seeing how the characters grow and develop. And I mean grow because at some point they really grow. So you have Simon, a very timid boy who digs in their mines underground. Humans are forced to live below as the creatures called beastmen patrol above, keeping them down. But that all changes when he meets Kamina, a man that's always looking up to what's beyond that boundary. Kamina is the exact opposite of Simon, who becomes a pseudo father-brother role model to him, someone for the kid to look up to. Together they make quite the team, as Simon... I'm gonna keep calling him Simon, I swear, reading this script. With his drill necklace is able to power up a mech that's able to attach itself to other ones and pilot them. And even though Kamina is more of a capable fighter, he tells Simon that it's his mech. He has to pilot it. Now for the other characters, I would say apart from these two, only a few others get some growth, like Nia and Rosyu. Yoko is sort of fan service incarnate, and the other characters are usually only remembered for one line, or quickly shoving a bunch of character growth so the plot can do something with their character later on. So as a whole, I wouldn't really say every single member of the cast had the best growth. It's more of a select few that they really honed in on, giving them backstories and so on. The rest of the time, well, they had the animation. How the heck was this a TV anime? I know the footage I'm showing is from the Blu-ray, but seriously, how did Gainax, after the train wreck of animation budgeting with Eva, manage to pull all this off? Every single episode has wallpaper-worthy moments. Characters are always framed in interesting ways, some for very questionable reasons, but there's barely any still frames. It's kinda crazy comparing it to Kill la Kill, which had noticeable dips in quality at times. However, I still want to mention the episode, you know the one, episode 4. So for reasons I do not know why, they got one guy to animate the episode in his style. Now why this was episode 4, introducing important characters that are so early on, people might drop it after seeing the characters look so different, I do not know. But I will say, even on a third rewatch, I had to fast forward through it. And I'm not saying his style is bad. I love the episode on PSG he did, but it works more in shows where you expect the animation to change up. Here they are building a world and story. You don't want the episode 4 to feel different to the others, especially given how dynamic the other ones are animated. It was a strange decision to make it the 4th episode and not somewhere further down the line where more people are hooked. Or maybe they didn't want the hooked people to feel more odd if it was later down. All I'm saying is, it's not bad animation, just weird given the rest of the show. Other than that, this might be one of my favorite animated TV shows of all time. If you want a consistent high quality of 20 episodes of animation insanity, here you go. The explosions, the battles, the fight choreography, the character designs, I love it so much. Now as one of the older dubs, they usually have the same voice actors. Yes, nearly every single character is voiced by someone you know, with some being so hilariously typecast, like it has to be on purpose that Kamina voices Kaito. But it's still a really good dub, with a special shout out to Nia's voice actress. I really love the range she gave to the character. Music wise, it's up there with my favorites, the openings and endings being ones I could not skip, even on the rewatches. And yes, the opera rap near the end is amazing. But the one thing I noticed, which I'm not sure anyone else did, I'm fascinated by this process, but do they make the music first before the animation? Because many times, I found them timing animation key moments with the drops in the song, and I think they animated it around the music, since you can tell they hang on frames just a moment too long to make the beat time later with the cool bits. Just something I noticed. Now another thing I noticed, especially after watching Eva, yes, I feel this might be a, oh look, everything copied Evangelion, but holy moly, it's so amusing seeing all these scenes now. I mean, even in the fan service episode. Speaking of which, did you know there's a censored version where they cut up the animation, and to fill in the gaps, they do recaps at the start? It's actually insane comparing the scenes.
What the hell were you thinking you were on, Pinhead? It was obviously a trap! What kind of idiot would agree to that? You're
But yeah, they totally shove Eva into the fan service episode. Also Squidward. Yeah, the Trigger team love Western stuff. I 100% believe they were watching SpongeBob while making this. But it was just so cool going into Gurren after Evangelion, seeing how they evolved. I mean, consistent animation is such a plus, but if you're expecting some thought-provoking, deep scenes, just keep watching. It does that later on, but not to the extent of Evangelion. I don't even think any anime I've watched has done that yet. But Gurren pretty much is a precursor to everything Studio Trigger is now, and that is all about the hype. Now, while I love hype shows so much, I feel like they need to have something else to balance them out, which is kind of why on rewatching, I feel like this anime is not as amazing as I thought it was. Don't get me wrong, I still love it to death. I will never forget binging this in 2 days while I was super sick, bawling my eyes out to some rapping opera. But now I just feel some of the episodes kinda drag, and I mean, hey, Evangelion had those moments too, plenty of them. But this is a rewatch, not going in blind. After that initial phase of the hype, you kind of have seen it all already and start to appreciate other things like the camera angles, which the anime is so good at. So while in my dumb list of favorite anime, I think Space Dandy might have overtaken it, but I mean, out of all the anime I've watched, it's still really, really good. And if you have never ever seen this, I highly recommend it. It's one of those essential viewing of anime, you know, part of that huge list of oldish anime that you have to view at least once. And yep, for rewatching it, it shows a huge part of why I prefer older style of animation over modern. There is just so much care put into this, creating a show that makes you want to pierce the heavens and beyond. Also, yes, I know there's a more hype movie with better animation, but it's not dubbed, so I don't think I'll ever watch it. Yes, I'm weird, I know.